Back. Get a thumbs up. Yeah. All right, Coach, you can start us off.
All right, really proud of our guys. Coming on the road in the SEC and winning is a hard thing to do. You play 4 of these for now. You play 4 every year, and they're hard. So it's like you just have a relief to cross them off and get wins on the road. So proud of our guys. We started poor. We're down 10-0. Guys made a heck of a play to convert the 4th down. Otherwise it's 10-0 and they're going to have the ball in our territory. And you guys know we play aggressive, but it takes players to make the plays. And that really, to me, that was a big turn. They're going to get the ball back, up 10-0. And from there we go on, 30-10 run to the last field goal there at the end. So proud of our guys, how they played. Wasn't perfect. Austin was okay to go back in and showed a lot of courage, kind of the opposite of the Georgia game for Jackson. And so he was ready to go. We just had a plan there. Wanted to go with Trinidad with Austin not being full speed, and it was good. Really that game a lot towards the end really was like last year. Just all 3 phases went the other way. Last year we had the ball up 4 and could have ended the game. Went down and scored, and instead we gave them the ball back, and we didn't stop them. And they went down the field and scored, and then we missed a field goal. And this was exactly opposite. We stop them on a 4th down, then we go the length of the field, score to make it 2 scores, and make the field goal. So really all 3 phases did a good job at the end of the game.
Questions?
Lane, in the second quarter, that 4th and 1 conversion from Austin to Harrison Wallace really seemed to kind of jumpstart things for you guys. I know you've thrown interceptions on the last 2 drives. What gave you the confidence to put the ball in his hand in a moment like that?
Yeah, we have a lot of confidence in him, and just knew he'd make the plays. They're hard, man. They're sticky on defense. They've been that way for a long time. Sometimes to throw, into all those zones, and so really the one time you're going to get them in man like that is short yardage. So there's a lot of risk, obviously, in that, throwing the ball down the field like that. But just something we had practiced and had ready for that spot. And he made a big play, and Trey made a great play.
You referenced this a little bit. You guys obviously early adversity and yet you bounce back from it. What does that say about the potential of this team?
I think it says a lot. I think it says they got a chance to be really good because you can see in phases they'll go right down the field and score with dynamic playmakers, and then they'll stop people and shut them down 3 and out. So I think they have a chance. So today was a good SEC start. Again, winning the SEC is hard, but winning on the road in the SEC is hard. And so you can start 1-0 in the SEC when they put you week 2 at a game. Is great. Now I get a chance to go back home.
You've talked about this a few times already. Kiwan obviously gives your offense a dimension that it didn't have last year.
Yeah.
Just how much does he change what you guys can do?
I mean, he's really good, and kind of like we had Quinchon for those 2 years, and he's a great running back, and then we went a year without it, and you can see it's hard. Hard in the SEC when these games, kind of you turn it over, or the passing game's not working as great, or you're not protecting. You want to run the ball, and that was the goal today. This is kind of what I probably would have predicted. You got 48 rushes and 24 passes. Probably would have predicted that to happen in a good way. So that was really good to see, and he's a huge part of that.
How helpful is it to have a guy like Trinidad as the QB2, especially like in a spot like today where you're probably trying to keep the ball on the ground to run up the clock?
Yeah, it's really great. It was a really great pickup to have somebody like that. You've seen that model before where people we had it here like with Plumlee and Corral, and they do it in the NFL sometimes. So it's great to have him here. You saw it last week. Actually, I don't think we paid as much attention, but he went in certain situations last week. Because he has a unique skill set. And he was not 100% today. He was playing with the injured calf, and didn't even know, it was really bothering him in warm-ups. And so just told him, man, adrenaline's a good drug. So you'll be all right. And luckily he was.
Looked like you guys made an offensive line change kind of early in the game. What led to that, and then what did you think of results afterwards.
Yeah, that was by design going in. We were just going to rotate, you know. So I thought we were up and down up front today, you know. Some protection early on, getting beat, and critical plays, and just like his interception again, you know, it's a hard throw when somebody's hitting you right in the face. So, but they did a good job at the end of the game, you know, running the ball.
Lane, you guys put a lot of pressure on the Kentucky defense, just specifically quarterback, your overall thoughts on the defensive line and defensive line.
Yeah, I mean, that's I actually said it this morning. You know, I was getting up early, and I was like, told our GM, man, you know, these road games just they feel a lot better when you have good D linemen. You know, and you know, got to outscore people, and you know they're really good, and we had this great one last year, and so to have a really good one again, that can end games, and you know, put pressure on the quarterback like that is awesome.
Lane, what is it about Austin sort of mentally that allowed him to bounce back the way that he did?
He's tough, man. I mean, he's tough. You know, like he's so mature for his age. You've seen him go in and strike out, what did they say, the third pick of the draft in baseball as a freshman. I mean, this guy and go into Georgia and play the way that he did. He's built different that way. And I wish we would have protected him better early. And he, you know, I think he would have seen more efficiency early.
Did you talk to him? He seemed all right. I want to make sure I got your words right there.
Yeah, he was fine. He said he was fine to go back in. He was throwing, and I just went with Trinidad for some scheme stuff. You know, just in that situation of trying to basically a 4-minute offense.
Any other questions for Coach?
All right, guys. Thanks.
Okay, so what players in next?